What is going on, guys? We are live. This is episode 7 of Luna Podcast. Today we're going to do a little bit different segment. It's going to be a Q&A. On my social media, I was able to submit questions, that you guys put in. I submitted this link through my story so that way you guys could actually send in questions and see what you guys wanted to talk about. I'm going to share a lot of the stories that you guys questioned me about. I'm going to try to give you guys my best advice through all the questions that you guys submitted as well. Some of them are pretty deep. It's one thing to help somebody going through something very difficult, but it's another to actually go through it and have to go through that on a daily basis, which is very extremely hard because I just keep seeing a lot of people in the same boat, in the same situationship, in the same struggles, and it's one of the reasons why I got motivated to even do the podcast, to begin with, because I see a lot of people struggling. I see a lot of people in pain. I see a lot of people stuck. I see a lot of people just, being in situations that they shouldn't be in. And like I said it in the last episode, as reason why I was motivated to do this podcast was to help as many people as possible. We're not all going to get it right. We're all going through something very difficult in our own life. Nobody's perfect. All we could do is manage through the obstacles that life throws at us. And if we're better prepared as human beings to attack these situations in a healthy manner, we would be in a lot better place. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. You guys have truly, truly inspired me to seek going back to school, to actually become an actual licensed therapist. Because I'm noticing how many people are really going through it mentally on a daily basis, even just through me tattooing people and the stories I hear. It's been something that's been an awakening for myself. I've gone through my own awakening through many situations that I've had to say enough is enough. But if I had the right guidance, I think I would have been in a lot better situation way before. But honestly, thank you guys, because all the feedback that you guys give me, it's been truly inspiring. And like I said, I'm truly, truly thinking about going back to school and actually getting a degree to actually help people out, through all these issues that people go through on a daily basis. It's something that I think we all are here to do on Earth. While we're here is to help each other out. All the beautiful things that we go through, all the bad things that we go through are just trials and tribulations that we have to manage through to become better human beings and pass that down through our children. I honestly think that that's the best description of life, honestly, because we cannot take all the materialistic stuff with us to the grave. All we could do is make this earth better and help each other out while we're here. But without further ado, before I keep giving my little pep talk, but yeah, you guys submitted really good questions. I'm going to start getting through them and answer them as best as possible. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. So I do appreciate you guys that actually submitted questions and were curious about stuff, So some of you guys actually sent some over the line stuff, but I'll still read them and I'll answer them as I go. So one of the first ones was, are there any regrets you have? So regrets, honestly, it's one of the things that a lot of people tend to bring up whenever they're like, fuck, man, I wish I could have done this different. I wish I could have taken a different approach. But in reality, we have to go through these things to learn as human beings. I don't know if you guys heard that fucking dog. It's my fucking neighbor's dog. He's going fucking crazy. But anyways, yeah, these regrets, we have to go through them. You can call them regrets, call them obstacles, call them whatever you want. But truly, I don't feel like I have any regrets because they formed me to be who I am today. If I didn't go through these things in life, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I do not have any regrets. I actually love the trials and tribulations that life throws at me. Honestly, I look forward to it. Honestly, every single day, I'm like, okay, what's life gonna throw at me today? And I think if you have that attitude every single day, you'll be in a really good situation, honestly, because you know that life is always going to be ups and downs. If you prepare mentally for these downs that we have in life, you'll get really good at managing your way through them instead of being like, fuck, I wish I didn't go through that. You know, I wish that this didn't come. Even karma. You know, I'm a firm believer in karma. And I'm always ready for my karma. You know, it's like, come on, motherfucker. Like, I'm here. If I did something in my life in the past that was wrong to hurt somebody else, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for that karma to hit me. And I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, that was my fault. I'm going to push through it. And whatever it could be, I'm going to manage my best possible way through it and not bitch about it. I'm not going to complain about it. You know, we all go through things for a reason, honestly. And that's, we could even get to a place where it's a religious talk because I feel like God sends a lot of tests to us in a way, good and bad. And whichever it could be, it's for a reason. It's a test, honestly. I'm a firm believer in that. Like that saying that goes, only God sends his toughest test or battles to his toughest warriors. You know, I think that's a really good quote, verse, whatever it could be. But I think it has a lot of meaning behind it because every test only prepares you for the next level. He's not going to bless you with something so big if you haven't been able to go through the small things. So no, you know, any regrets that we have, I love it. And here comes the dog again. I don't know, my neighbor's got a new puppy or not, but I actually got a puppy myself at the beginning of the year. My son wanted a corgi, so I was able to bless him with that, and man, he's been so happy with it. It's such a blessing to the family. But anyways, we will continue with these questions. So the next one on the list, it's not a question. Somebody, I guess from Del Rio, says, not gonna lie, I had a boldest crush on you when you lived in Del Rio, and then when you moved, we had a small friendship after you moved, but I didn't have the guts to make a move. Well, back then, I don't think I was even capable of being in a relationship. I was, but I was not in a good place, so I think it's a good thing that you didn't make a move yourself, but thank you for that. I'll take it as a compliment. How do you get over someone? Okay, so this one's a very difficult one because I think we all have that ex that just lingers in our mind forever, it seems like. But I don't think you ever get over somebody. I just think you maneuver through life in a better way to distract yourself from even thinking about them. And as a man, I always tell my friends, my guy friends, I'm like, hey, just elevate yourself, go to the gym, stay busy. You know, I think one of the best things that we could do is have a busy schedule. I think we are all at our worst whenever we have too much time on our hands. And during that time, we're just thinking about that relationship. We're just thinking about, fuck, did I make the right move of moving forward? Why did they break up with me? You know, vice versa. It could be any way, but I think the longer you think about it, the more it's going to kill you. So having a busy schedule will help you out, kind of distract you in a way away from that relationship that you were in. Because the more you think about something, it's just going to destroy you, honestly. I've been there. I'm going to be honest about it. You know, you have to move forward. You have to be busy. And you have to elevate your life. You cannot be in a situation where you're thinking about them and you're distracted by that and you're not doing shit with your life. I think the best thing that you could do as a human being whenever you move on forward from a relationship is just climb the fucking ladder. And what I mean by that is climbing the ladder of life, getting a promotion, traveling, meeting new people. Don't stay in the same place. Because if you show that person that you were with that you're miserable, they're going to be laughing at you. You know, whatever it could be. It doesn't fucking matter. Because I don't think you should even fucking care what the fuck they're thinking about you. Especially after their relationship. Just elevate your life. Elevate your life enough to be like, fuck them, and I'm going to do better without them. That's the best advice I could give you. Because, like I said, if you think about them too much, it's going to distract you from something greater that's waiting for you in the future. I've been there, trust me. Don't let somebody that's a piece of shit or whatever, or somebody that doesn't deserve to be in your life, to take that energy from you, where you could put that energy into something greater. It could be a career, your next partner, your next relationship. It could be whatever it could be. But do not let it get you down. Do not. Because it's gonna take you down a fucking rabbit hole. And a lot of people stay in there for a long, long time. Trust me, I've seen it. And it's why they come back to the relationship. It's why they can never let them go. They'll get with somebody new, but they're thinking about the other person. Like, it's a shit show. So the best thing is just get yourself straight. Get yourself mentally ready for somebody else, because the next person that's going to be in your life could potentially be ready to give you their all in a way where if you're not ready, you're only going to do them harm. So the best advice is just, be mentally ready for somebody else. Just life in general. So the next one, I actually got this one twice, and on these questions that you guys submitted, because I did go through them before I started reading them. So it's about how to balance life. I'm going to read the question. How do you balance your life with so many businesses you take care of at once? Family, work balance. I'm going to read the other one too. Where is it? Because we all need to balance life, you know. It's one of the things that we all try to do. And I know you guys see my life and the stuff I post on social media. And yeah, sometimes it could be a lot, but I'm able to manage through it. Yeah, so here's the other one. How do you juggle everything that you have going on business-wise and being a parent? You wear all those hats so well. So thank you for that. That's why I wanted to read it, because you guys actually submitted that question. So thank you for submitting that. And yeah, it looks good from the outside, but inside it's been work. It's been a lot of sacrifice. I hate saying it, because it's one of the difficult things about striving to be a lot in life, you know, with my businesses and trying to accomplish more and more and more every single day. But with that comes consequence. It's a lot of sacrifice that I have to do with my family, even my own son. But my son, I explain it to him, and I make sure I do, so that way he understands. So that way he doesn't feel left out. So when I take him on a trip, I'll be like, you know what? You know, I worked really hard to be able to create this trip for us and enjoy life, you know. And I tell him that, hey, we have to be humble. Not everything comes to us. It comes through us it comes through us through a lot of sacrifice. It's not just going to be handed to us. So these are little things that I do tell my own son. He's at the age where I could tell him this, and he understands very well. You know, he has everything that he needs. I make sure that he earns everything that he gets. I don't just give it to him. And that's my balance with him. Now with life in general, a lot of people always tell me like, oh, you need to take a break. I think 2 months ago it was when I was trying to break my own record, I guess. I think it's an ego thing. I was trying to work as long as possible, like as many days as possible without taking a break. And I think I hit 37 days, something like that, right in the mid 30s. 37 days, I think it was, without a day off. I was just working consistently back to back to back to back. But honestly, I'm just going to say a lot of my friendships, relationships, they suffer, honestly. And only because where I want to get to, it's going to require a lot of sacrifice. And I'm okay with that, because I'm trying to build a legacy my own self. I want to build a legacy for my last name. And so that way my son could eventually take over and keep going on with that legacy. You know, I've been blessed enough to have a son and him carry my legacy with my last name. And I guess the way I lead my life is just staying busy, but still being able to create those times with family and my son. So even if I don't take a day off, like I said, I went on 37 days on without a day off. And that means tattooing. Like tattooing wise, I work every single day, but usually I do take a break here and there in between. But during that time, I was just on it. I was just tattooing 2 to 3 tattoos a day. And I was just on it. You know, I was losing my mind through the art that I was doing, honestly. And I love it, because what I do as a living, I don't see it as work. So I think that becomes so much easier than somebody that actually goes to work and hates their job, you know? So I think for me, it becomes a little bit more easier because I found my passion and I'm able to balance it out through that. Because if I didn't have my passion, I think I would have struggled. And through life, I think we have to explain to our family, to our friends, like, hey, I'm trying to get here. And it's going to require me not to be around too much. You know, I might not be able to go to your cookout. I might not be able to go to your birthday parties. You know, and the truest friends that you have in your life are going to understand, honestly. I have a really close circle myself, and they understand themselves. You know, there's many things that we go through in life that we have to manage through that take up that time to be able to accomplish something greater. And if you go through life wanting more and more, it's going to require a lot of sacrifice. And it's going to be okay, because your life is going to be a reflection. Your future is awaiting you, especially if you put in the hard work every single day. And I've always motivated myself to wanting more. And the more that I do, the more I get motivated. That's why I have so many businesses. That's why I have so many things going on in my life. But I'm okay with it. You know, I'm able to manage everything in the way it's supposed to, even if it's too much. But I'd rather be this busy than being in my bed, in my couch, just scrolling through social media and not doing shit. You know, I want an exceptional life. I do not want an average life. My lifestyle is a little bit different because of that. And I've had to tell that to a lot of people. It's just, I'm sorry I can't be there, but I hope you understand. But I got shit to do. That's just the way it is. Because I want more from life. I truly, truly want more from life. And I'm instilling that into my son. So I think the best thing that I could tell you is just to explain it to your family, friends, children, whatever it could be. And you hope that they understand, because I've been able to balance it out by giving them that time, even if I don't take a whole day off. I think every day, we're all given the same 24 hours. And the way you use it, it's going to be a reflection in your future. A lot of people, they complain as to why they're struggling in life. It's because they don't want to put in the work. There's a lot of seminars, there's a lot of coaching, there's a lot of everything online right now where people could actually get the help. I'm actually going to start a masterclass for tattooing and for business and life in general, because I want to help people out. There's a lot of help out there, but it's up to you to actually want to seek it. I think the thing that people struggle with the most is staying consistent day by day, day by day. Because I've seen people that they do good for like 2-3 days, a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then they're back to doing the same old shit. It's same with the gym. It's the same example with the gym. There's been times that you've gone to the gym, you want to stay consistent, and then you easily, boom, fall off. But why is that? It's a lot of mental discipline that you need to go through these little motions that, life throws at you. It's consistency. Without the consistency, you're not going to achieve anything in life. It could go with the career, relationship, any situation like that. Consistency matters in life. So to end it with this subject, just like I said, talk to the nearest people to you, and the ones that truly love you will understand. Because I think in life, we don't truly have a balance. I think life is just up and down, just like I talked about earlier. Life is about obstacles. And sometimes I think life in general, I think it's a beautiful thing where it's very unbalanced, because that's what forms us to be who we are as people. Without it, how are we ever going to learn how to elevate in life? I think it's a beautiful thing that we have to go through these obstacles and life be an unbalanced life. Because that's how it's always going to be. Because imagine if life was all good. Imagine how boring that's going to be. So embrace everything that comes your way, because it's only going to form you to be who you're supposed to be as a person. And you're going to pass that down through your children. And implement that lifestyle and implement those good habits that you created through these bad trials and errors to become a better person. So the next submission I got, it's actually in Spanish. So I'm sorry to the people that do not understand Spanish, but I am going to read it. Siento buenísima vibra cuando abro sus mensajes, que fue lo que lo hizo mejor persona. ¿Tiene algún nuevo proyecto en mente? Okay, so they're asking me what made me a better person, because I have a good vibe to myself. And if I have a new project in mind, I'm assuming tattooing. So honestly, the way I am right now is because of all the stuff that I've gone through. I'm going to explain it in Spanish because I don't know if this person actually understands English. So I'm just going to talk quickly in Spanish and I'm going to translate. So I am going to translate just very quickly in Spanish, and I'm going to just translate back into English. So, la razón que yo soy la persona que soy hoy es por todas las cosas que yo he pasado. Muchas de las cosas que yo he pasado ahorita y en mi vida pasado es la razón que yo he podido pushar por las cosas que yo he pasado en mi vida, porque muchas cosas que Dios o la vida en general me ha pasado es porque es una razón. Ahorita yo hablé mucho de karma. Es muchas cosas que te pasan en la vida por las cosas que ha pasado en el pasado. So, yo soy la persona ahorita que soy porque tantas cosas malas, tú sabes, muchas cosas que pasan en la vida te forman en la persona que eres hoy. Y es bien simple, tú sabes, explicar esto, pero de verdad, muchas cosas malas que me han pasado en mi vida, estoy bien orgulloso yo que me han pasado. Porque si no me pasó eso, yo no sería esa persona ahorita. So I'm going to translate back in English so that way you guys understand, because I don't know if this person actually, like I said, understands the English, and I think I might know who this is, but what I was just saying is that all the stuff that we go through in life is because of a reason. It could be God, it could be life in general, it could be karma. But we should be proud that we went through that because it formed us to be who we are today. Because without that, we're not going to be the people that we are today. We're not. Like I said earlier, if we go through life being on easy mode, how the fuck is that going to eventually help us out as human beings? It's not. So we have to look forward to each day to face a new obstacle. That's just the best way to describe it, because without that, we're nothing. We stay complacent. We stay in our little shell, and we don't accomplish shit. Every single day that we wake up, it'd be like, pray to God. If you guys are religious, that's one thing I do is pray to God. And I'm always saying, I'm ready for today. I'm ready for today's battles. Whether it be karma, whether it be hardships, I'm ready for it. Because I know it's going to elevate me as a person. And the next part of this question was if I have a new project in mind. So again, I'm just going to translate in Spanish quick. So, ahorita sí tengo un proyecto en mente. Actually, I'm going to be talking a lot of Spanglish because I hate saying it, because a lot of my English is a lot better than Spanish, even though Spanish was my first language. Pero ahorita sí tengo un proyecto nuevo. Tengo muchísimos que ahorita ando trabajando. Muchos proyectos grandes de sleeves, los brazos todos completos, las piernas todas completas. Tengo muchos de esos ahorita. So I said that I have a lot of arm sleeves, I have a lot of leg sleeves coming up. A lot of projects that I've actually been working on. If you guys want to go check them out, go follow official Edgar Luna on Instagram. Or you guys could actually go to the Edgar Luna tattoo page on Facebook. So on all these pages, I share all my work, for everybody that's actually, tuning in. So on all these pages, I share my work and you guys are able to follow it, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys that listen to this podcast actually saw most of my work and actually follow my work. So thank you for that. And it means a lot. I put a lot of love and passion into each piece that I do. So you guys are the reason why I'm here. I always thank you guys every single time I can, because without you guys, like I said, I wouldn't be here. You guys gave me that trust where I could put something permanent on you guys, and you guys show it off to the world, and that lives with you forever. And that's why I always feel extremely blessed to be a tattoo artist, because I'm able to do that with you guys, including, the stories I hear, from you guys. I have so much respect for you guys and a lot of love. I think I said it in the last episode where lately, in these last 2-3 years, honestly, I've been listening to all the stories you guys have been telling me as reasons why I wanted to even begin this podcast. Because a lot of people, like I said, they're struggling. Even I struggle my own self. But I seek the help in many ways that are very healthy. I don't fall into the same old fucking rut that I did in the past. I maneuver through life in such a way better fashion that I'm able to maneuver through it in a much healthier way, because my old ways are not the way. And I think you guys should live that way too. Elevate your life. Always do something different. Don't be doing the same thing, because the same old things is going to lead you to the same old things. You know, if you want to elevate your life, you got to do something new. You got to act new. You got to approach something new in a new fashion, because if you approach it the same way that you did in the past, you're going to get the same results. So I'm scrolling here so that way you guys could get the next question. So this one is, what was your life before tattooing took off for you? So life for me before tattooing, it was the military. It was working for FedEx. It was being a plumber. A lot of people don't even know that. I actually started tattooing when I was in the military. I was that guy, that soldier during that time, tattooing everybody in the barracks. You know, I during that time, I had told myself that I wanted to pursue something with art. And my goal was to be an art teacher and be a football coach. You know, those are two passions I have in life. So I was going to go to school, get my bachelor's, learn how to teach art in school, you know, and be a coach. I was going to be complacent with that. I was going to be happy with that. But life led me down a path of tattooing, and it wasn't easy. You know, a lot of people that want to learn how to tattoo starting off very, very early, it's very hard. It's one of the hardest things that I went through when I first started. And a lot of people, a lot of artists have reached out to me that are trying to, you know, build their career. And I always tell them the honest truth. It's like, keep working. Give away tattoos, because honestly, that's sometimes the only way to get people in. It's a very tough process, because you're doing something permanent on somebody forever. And not everybody's going to be willing to give you their skin, you know, and potentially you fuck it up, you know. Even till this day, I've been doing this for over 10 years, close to 12 years. And I still get anxiety. Like, it's crazy, because before every tattoo, I always make sure I get into my zone and I get mentally prepared, and a position where I don't want nothing to bother me. No outside noise, nothing, because I want to be zoned in. And that's because I'm doing something permanent on somebody. It's not just a fucking hobby. You just fucking whatever, you know, like, no, like, I want my tattoo to actually come out good, because it's going to be on somebody forever. You know, I'm not just going to take a different approach, very relaxed. It's never been my nature, but it's reasons why my work speaks for itself. I don't have to hype out my work. You could go look at it, all the detail I do into it, talk to any of my clients, especially up to recent. Don't talk to my clients from way back then. You know, that's where I made my honest mistakes, you know, but now I'm very prideful of what I do. I respect every client that walks into my studio. And I respect every single client that allows me to do something permanent on them. But back to the question, because I could just keep going on. But my life before tattooing. So I was in the military. I was still tattooing. I got out and I became a plumber. I was working for my dad's business during that time, but I was still trying to pursue tattooing on the side. So during these times that I was having a regular job, I was still pursuing my passion. I didn't let up. And actually, I did let up a few times, honestly, because, marriage at the time, wasn't the best. And because of those reasons, that's the only reason I actually had to quit. I think I quit twice that I know of, maybe 3 times during that time, only because it was just financially not in a good place. I was struggling to get people in. It wasn't something smooth wherever you just started tattooing and then people are gonna come to you. It's just not that way. So I do know that I almost gave up on tattooing fully, like fully. But I kept pushing. I did go through my divorce, but that motivated me as well. Because after being a plumber, and then slash tattoo artist on the side, I started working FedEx. And during that time, I was trying to get closer to my son. Through the cities that my ex-wife, she eventually moved to. It was just to be closer to that city that she was at because of my son being there. So I was still pursuing being close to my son, pursuing a different career, but still pursuing my passion. And I just kept pushing until I just said, fuck it, I'm going to go for it. And I went full tattoo artist. I took a leap of faith. And guess what? It worked out. But because I put all my heart and passion and love into it, and I had faith. I had so much faith during that time because I did not know how life was going to, pan out for me, but it eventually worked out. And I think that's how life should always be, like I just said. Take on those obstacles. Expect those ups and downs to happen because that's what's going to form us into something greater. And for me, that's been the result. So on to the next one. It's not a question, but I guess it's somebody that submitted something where they said, I am nervous to ask you out. I don't know if that's the automated thing on the fucking NGL link that I have, because I know some of the questions are automated, but I'll take that as a compliment. If it was somebody. Let me go to the next one. So there's another one here. It says, so 2 questions actually. Would you ever be open to dating someone with kids? And 2, would you consider someone who does not drink, smoke, believe that God comes first, and cook? Question mark. Just asking. Smiley face emoji. So thank you for that. I'll take that as a compliment, and some woman, submitted this one and, just submitted what they felt about me. And I appreciate that. Like I said, I'll take it as a compliment, but, so I'll be a little vulnerable right now. I think one of the difficult things about being a single mother is getting attached to the children. So like I was saying, it's before this fucking dog interrupted me, because I've been having to pause. If you guys haven't been able to tell, I'll just be completely open about it right now. But the difficulty about dating a single mother is very, very hard. Only because you take the risk of the relationship not working out, you building that relationship with those children, and then that woman could easily, cut off the relationship whenever she wants to. And then you don't only lose her, but you lose the kids. It's a very difficult thing. I just went through that recently. Like I said, I'll be all, open about it. It is very, very difficult. And it's reasons why, into my other episodes, I will talk about this too, about dating a single mother, and as to why a lot of guys, they don't even want to seek that. I just hate saying that because, you know, a lot of single mothers, they get put in a situation where they didn't want to be a single mother. I understand that. But a lot of guys, they look away. You know, most guys, they just want to hook up and that's it. They don't want no commitment to that person because they know the harm that it would cause themselves if they were to lose that person and the children that are not even theirs. And it makes it very difficult. So for me, I mean, it would honestly depend on the person because I have met a lot of amazing single mothers. That's the only way I would consider, honestly, if she checks off a lot of fucking, how can I say, a lot of check marks for myself, I guess, that I look for in a woman. But even then, that's sometimes not even enough. Because, like I said, it's a very high gamble for most men. And the way I have my life lined up, it's not an average one. So I don't bring a lot of time into the family like many other guys would, you know, which I praise them. You know, that's amazing that they're able to do that. But where I'm trying to get into life, it's a lot of limited time. It's not a lot of time with the family, not a lot of time with the kids, even her. So it's just understanding that, hey, we're trying to sell this ship to somewhere greater. If you're willing to come, you know, complement my life, then yeah, you know, we'll go at it together. We'll sell this ship together, but just don't be my anchor. You know, it's a very complicated question because I don't want to get too controversial because I've actually studied the red pill, and most guys they do not want to date a single mother, especially a high value man. They do not seek the way of single mothers because of how much that could just be an anchor in a way. The way I've seen it, the way I've studied it, you know, and I don't want to take shots at women right now, but it's just the way it is, the way I've seen it, and it's hard. You know, I went through it, and yeah, it could be an anchor. If you're with the wrong person, it could be an anchor. And also depending how many children there is. You know, one or two is good. You know, it could be workable, but over 2 children, man, your life is going to be very difficult to deal with somebody else's children, especially if it's more than 2. You know, your life is going to be in pause, especially as a man, because you're the one that's supposed to be a provider, protector, and a guidance for those children. But most high value men, if not all, they do not seek the way of a single mother. By what I've seen, I myself, I would consider it, but like I said, it's a long checklist for myself. And the only way I would consider it is because I have a son myself. You know, so I would actually want somebody that actually knows how to be a mother. You know, that's one of the reasons why as well. You know, it's not a priority, but it's something that I've found out myself that is very important to myself. And yeah, you sound like an amazing woman. You know, you put God first. You know how to cook. You know, most women don't even know how to cook. You don't drink and smoke. Fuck. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, even an example like this, you know, you do seem like a high value woman yourself. You don't drink, smoke. You put God first. And you know how to cook. I mean, what else can you ask for? You know, so I praise you for that. But just life is one of those things where, you know, you're willing to take that risk. You know, and if somebody's willing to sell that ship with you, and I don't live my life average, that's the thing. You know, I don't want to praise myself too much, but I am an exception to that because most men, they'll accept anybody. You know, with children, without children. It could be with, you know, anything like that. But, you know, usually exceptional men, they have many options. Single mothers and women that don't have children. You know, so they weigh their options and they see what's going to benefit their life. to continue their life in the fashion that they want. You know, so I will not get controversial with this talk, but you know, I will consider it if it was a thing. But right now, honestly, I'm not looking to date. I'm just not. So if that makes it clear as day, I just have a lot going on with my life, and I like to keep it that way. You know, it's one of those things that I do preach even on these podcasts. If you do get out of a relationship, just like I did, it's the best thing to do is to work on yourself. Don't jump back into a different relationship and use them as a rebound. You know, it's good to have compassion. It's good to have friendship. It's good to have all that. But be honest with people. You know, don't go through life and giving somebody their high hopes that you're going to give them something that you just cannot. You know, I think that's one thing that people can't do right now is that they can't be honest with each other. And they fall into these situations where they're stuck in because they were not honest to begin with. So if it's one advice I could give you guys, be intentional. Be intentional with your motives, with whoever you're seeing or whoever you're going to be with next. You know, even your own life, if you're going to be single, stay single. Don't fucking create situationships. You guys know better. So the next one, how much should someone tip on their tattoo? So tipping on tattooing is very complicated, I would say, depending on where you live. Because, fuck, there's been many times that I've tattooed and they haven't tipped. A couple years ago, I went to the UK and I tattooed in Cambridge. And over there, they don't believe in tipping at all. Like, whatever you quote them, that's it. There's no such thing as tipping. I think tipping is an American thing. And I think me going, you know, international, going somewhere else, I was able to learn this because tipping does not exist in other countries. And yeah, like I said, it's just an American thing. But here in America, I guess people tip like what, 5-10% sometimes, maybe 20. Honestly, if you tip, fuck, if a tattoo was $100 and you tip 20, fuck, a tattoo artist will be happy with that. Now, if the tattoo was like $1,000, I mean, people have tipped me 100, 200, even 400. But honestly, I would be happy with even 50. But that's just me. You know, I think every tattoo artist is very different. But I think you tipping anything, I think in general, would make the artist feel happy. You know, I think it's more that we get accustomed to people tipping, and when somebody doesn't, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I didn't do a good job. Maybe, you know, your mind starts wondering a little bit. So tipping does make a difference, but it's not necessary, I guess. I think as a tattoo artist, whatever you're charging, that's what you're supposed to earn. If somebody wants to tip you more, you know, that's a blessing. You know, you should just be happy about that and move forward from it, you know. So next question. I had a crush on you before and you never knew. Okay, so I don't know if that one's the automated one, but thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah, there's a lot of those here, so I'm trying to get through them. Because there was another one that, it's another female. She's like, I wanted to ask you out, but I was too shy to. I do appreciate you guys, you know, being honest and bold, you know. I'll take it as a compliment, but that's all I will do right now. So the next one, do you have a favorite tattoo you've ever done and why? That's a good question because I've done many tattoos that I feel like are like my favorite. I always say like my last tattoo is always my favorite one because I gave it my all. That's a good question. I think my best way to describe this answer is just saying that each of my last tattoos I've done have been my favorite, honestly, because those are the ones that I've given my best to, and I could live with that. Because right now I can't think of a specific one. Yeah, I can't think of a specific one. There is an Aztec sleeve I did. It was a full sleeve, and the client actually gave me full liberty on it, and it turned out to be one of my best tattoos I've ever done. So maybe that one, just because the client gave me the full freedom of it. And if that's one advice I can give you guys whenever you guys get a tattoo from somebody, is give the artist full freedom. You know, the more you question him, the more you change the design, the more and more and more you try to put your opinion into it, that tattoo is going to be something else that not even the artist is going to be happy doing it. I'm just going to be honest. You have to fully trust the artist to do what they want to do, because they're the ones that know what's going to look best. You could implement your opinion, your idea, but it's up to the artist to decide what's going to go on your skin, because they're the ones that know what's going to look good or not. Because there's been times that I've listened to the client, I've listened to them and be like, okay, this is not going to work, but they're like, okay, I just want it that way. And then I do it. And the next thing you know, they want to change it whenever it's already done, you know, or they want to get it covered, or it could be whatever. But only if they had listened to me from the get-go, they wouldn't be in that situation. You know, so yeah, I would say, honestly, the best tattoos I've done, or my favorite one, is my last ones that I've done. The previous ones are just recently, because I know I've given my all to it. I've given my full love and passion to it. So there's another one. What's your next tattoo project? My next one, there's a floral leaf sleeve I'm working on, actually, that I have going on this week too. So yeah, that's one of my next projects. I've been blessed enough to have a lot of projects coming up. So yeah, but that's my next one. You looking to date right now? Nope. How much is someone? Yeah, that's the one I have right now. So on to the next question. This one's very personal, but I'll answer it as best as possible. So me and my husband have been married for 6 years, and I no longer feel we will work out due to him having lack of masculine traits. How do you change someone into something you need? Well, you don't change somebody. I think that somebody that wants to be the way that they are is because that's what they chose. I think sometimes through life, we try to change people, you know, to fit our needs in a way. And it makes the relationship a lot more complicated. But honestly, fuck, if I had a fucking penny every single time I heard this similar question, I would be fucking rich. And it sucks that a lot of women have to go through this. And I hear it all the time. You know, I'm just gonna be honest about that. A lot of women are lacking their husband being masculine or being the man of the house. But why is that? A lot of men are just fucking pussies now. You know, they're not men no more. They don't handle issues that they should handle in their own home. And it sucks for females that have to go through this, because it eventually turns you guys into more masculine women, where you have to handle those situations. So the best way I could honestly to describe this is you have to give them, in a way, an ultimatum. Go through therapy, see if they change. And if they don't change, I mean, as bold as this answer is going to be, you have to do it. You have to walk out the door. Because a lot of people stay in situations so much longer expecting them to change, or they stay together for the children, but both parents are not happy. And I did talk about this on the last, one of the last episodes that I talked about, is that staying together for the kids is one of the worst things that you could do. Because you're only going to show the children what love isn't, and that's the next generation. Right now, we're lacking a lot of masculine traits in life through a lot of careers, a lot of jobs, relationships, marriages. It could be anything. But why society is failing right now is the lack of masculinity. And I'm always going to repeat that because it's the truth. Men are not men anymore. And a lot of women have to put up with this shit. And you guys don't. I get why you guys are getting divorced. I get why you guys are trying to move forward. I get it. But if you have your clear answer, walk away. Don't try to fucking find a little Sancho or something somewhere, and get that affection and love you need from somebody else, or that masculine essence that you seek, because I know you guys do. Don't go seeking for it. Just get a divorce. Don't hurt somebody else in the process, and live life in a healthy manner where it's not gonna inflict pain into the other person and your children eventually. So that's the best advice I could give you. Give the person an ultimatum. Seek therapy. Go through therapy. But if they don't change, the door is there. And walk through it. Don't leave it fucking half open like many of you guys. So that's why you guys end up being with the same old fucking piece of shit over and over. Walk out and don't look fucking back. Life is too short, guys. This is one of the things I always tell you guys. Life is too fucking short. Why are you going to waste your life with somebody that makes your life miserable, that doesn't take you serious, and keeps making you unhappy? Weekly, daily, fucking, it could be anything. Yearly. Why are you going to put yourself through that? Because of your children? Is that making yourself a lot better of a human being? It's not. It's not. And that's why society right now is failing. People don't know how to walk away. And if they do walk away, they know how to walk back. Because it's their comfort zone. The reason why I'm getting a lot of passion from this is because, fuck, man, if I told you guys all the fucking stories I keep hearing about women going through something similar to this because their man is a fucking pussy, straight up. He's not masculine. He doesn't know how to handle issues. He has to ask his woman for permission for shit. But he got implemented that way because of a reason. Because he's a feminine man, he's a beta male, whatever it could be. But women are getting tired of it. And I know you guys are. I know you guys want a strong man in your home. You do not feel safe whenever the man comes to you and asks you for something or advice. I mean, it depends on the situation. But a man should always be the one that should be the leader. And to handle any situations that happen in the household, in his career, he should be a fucking man about it. But there's a lot of pussies right now. And a lot of women have to put up with that. So, yeah. That's the best answer I can give you. Walk away. If you give him a chance, walk away. And just be wary, because some people, they'll change for like I said before, a month, maybe 2, and then they'll go back to doing the same old thing. So pay attention to the patterns, because the patterns are going to tell you what they truly want with you. You know, it's all about the patterns and the actions that they're going to put forward. So yeah, that's all about that one. I'm telling you guys, life is too fucking short. Don't settle for less. Even if you've been married for fucking 5, 6, 7, 8, it doesn't fucking matter. Don't settle for less, because your future is what matters. The future of your children is what matters. So the next one is, what has dating taught you in this generation? Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure this answer is going to be the same as many, but it's been garbage. It's been a lot of confusion. It's been a lot of manipulation. It's been a lot of gaslighting. Things that I've had to learn after the relationship. You know, because when you're with somebody, you know, you're in love, you think you're in love, you know, it could be whatever reason, but you ignore all the red flags. You give that person the benefit of the doubt. And but because of that, we fall. Because of that, we hurt. And this generation, it's a generation where people think that they have endless options, and they don't. You just have people that fucking are horny, that just want to hook up. That's all it is, honestly. Nobody wants to take anybody serious. And if you get lucky enough, you find somebody that wants to commit, that has actually done the work to become the best version of themselves, and you've done the same work, that's a blessing. But that's extremely hard to find in this day and age, because, like I said, everybody feels like they have options. Social media has fucked it up. That's the number one reason why dating today has been extremely hard. And it's not going to get easier. It's just not. I think the faster you realize that dating is only going down a rabbit hole that can never come back up, you know, the better you're prepared mentally to know what you're going to face with whoever you're seeing, or whoever you see as a potential suit for your, you know, partnership or whatever it could be. So I think for me, yeah, dating has just been one of the extremist difficult things right now to even go through for anybody. I think if you're knowledgeable enough to understand what's happening, you'll know how to better maneuver it. That's why I'm talking about it a lot in these episodes. I talk about why it's hard, what to avoid, the signs to look at. Because if you ignore these signs, you're going to be in a place of hurt. Because right now, a lot of people, they know how to hurt each other very well. Don't be that victim. If you're better prepared, you're not going to put yourself in that situation. But yeah, dating has taught me so many things, but in a negative light. But like I said, you know, life does not hand you a person in a silver platter and God be like, you know, this is the person for you. Because sometimes we feel like that's what they are. And they end up being somebody else. You know, it's learning from our past relationships as how to become better human beings, how to become a better partner. I think that's what it's taught me, how to be better, honestly. Because without that, I would have been a fucking simp still, putting women on pedestals, buying them shit when they don't deserve shit, giving them my attention that they don't deserve. You know, it's the reason why a lot of guys right now, and I'm sure a lot of women right now could, you know, put a lot of truth to this. Their DMs are filled with fucking guys that are thirsty. Like, hey you, what are you doing? Oh, you look beautiful. You know, it's a lot of guys that are just throwing their fucking shot every fucking day. But the women that do not understand what's happening in this culture is that these guys are doing this with 10, 20, 30 women every single day. And they're just seeing which one bites. You know, average guys are the ones that do this. Why? Because they have the time to. A high value man does not have this time. A high value man is busy pursuing something else. They don't care if they fucking send a message to this woman that he feels some interest in. You know, if the woman is that worth it, then he would have made it known. He would actually put his effort with just that one woman. But these average men, they'll fucking throw shots every fucking where. Doesn't matter who the fuck they are. And most of these women, if they're not in a good place mentally, they'll see it as love. They'll see it as the attention that they need at that time. So what happens? They create a situationship. And next thing you know, you're emotionally involved with this person. And that's why people just connect in ways that they shouldn't have to begin with. That's why there's a lot of fuckery right now. Too many people are opening doors to everybody. And that creates a lot of anxiety. It creates a lot of misery. It creates a lot of misery just in general in your head. And I've seen it happen. You know, through people I've known, through people I've dated, I see the rabbit hole that they create for their own selves. Then they wonder why their life is shit. Why they always have anxiety. Why their fucking cabinet is full of fucking meds just to calm their anxiety or the way that they are. Why? They created that for their own selves. And not to take a shot at people that have, you know, certain issues medically. But a lot of these people, they created their own selves. You know, they're putting themselves in situations that they shouldn't have to begin with. Then they wonder what happened to them. If it was bad, good, it doesn't matter. Most of the time it's bad. Then they want to blame everybody else but themselves. I think it's time for people to start taking accountability. People go through life avoiding accountability. They want to blame every fucking body else but themselves. Life does not move forward that way. You elevate your life whenever you accept the things that happen to you is because of your own fault. If something bad happens to you and you know it's your fault, don't blame somebody else. And that's the way people live. They live through validation of others, through love of others, through the comfort of others. I mean, it could be a lot of things. But why is it that they always need external validation and they can't seek it their own selves? You know, and that's why I have a red pill mentality about this. It's usually the people that put God on their profile. You know, like, what is it? Fucking, oh, what's one of the ones? Like, they just put verses on their fucking bio, or they'll just put child of God or saved or some bullshit like that. Usually it's a cover up, you know, because they try to implement this persona to the world to cover up who they are inside. Because they know that they're a shitty ass person inside because they hurt other people. They use other people. but using God like that, and you're choosing to sin every fucking day, that's fucked up. Like you become more of a sinner that way. You might as well leave God out of it, because God doesn't even know what the hell to do with you. I just hate saying it that way, but it's the truth. It's blasphemy. You're using God's name in vain. And you're using God's name as a bandage to hide your true toxicity, your true sinner activities that you do. And that's just the way it is. A lot of people live that way. They live in the shell behind something that covers them from who they are. And yeah, that's one of the things I've learned in dating nowadays, is that people hide who they are behind a shell, behind a mask, behind God. They'll use anything. And I've even talked about it before in one of my last episodes. It's the narcissism. That's very narcissistic, because you're trying to manipulate other people on how they look at you. You want other people to look at you in a good light, knowing that you're a piece of shit behind that. A lot of people live that way, but hey, that's why they live the life that they live. They're always going to have misery in their life. So if you know somebody like that, let them live their life. They're gonna do all their damnedest to try and think, or make you think, that they're actually happy. Especially if it's somebody that you broke up with, they broke up with you, it doesn't matter. They're gonna try their damnedest. And you should be happy that you walked away, because you don't want to fall into that pit with them. I'd rather live an honest life and pursue God in a healthy manner. I don't want to claim God, but still pursue sin. That does not work. A lot of people live that way, because I'd rather live life giving myself fully to God and not sin. A lot of people, they use the word God, but decide to sin. That does not fucking coexist. People do not know the meaning of repentance. To repent means that you actually want to abide by the word of God. You actually want to commit to do better in life. To repent means that you want to try. People, they put God first, or say that they put God first, but they choose to still sin. That's not the way to repent. And people, they don't understand that. And that's what I mean about a lot of people, that they put God in their bio or some shit like that, and then they choose to keep sinning. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I would rather choose God and choose to do good. Not choose God, but choose to sin. That does not exist. That's not repentance. People seek the glory of God, but they wonder why their life is shit, because they haven't repented. They're putting God's name first, but they can't choose good and bad. They're just choosing both maybe, but they're choosing more bad. We're all sinners, I get it. But I think every single day, if we try to be better and we actually repent from what we've actually done in the past, that's going to lead us down a life of glory. You can't expect a life of glory if you keep choosing to sin every single day. You got to learn how to repent, and God's going to bless you with whatever he's going to bless you with. So on to my next one, because I know I could just keep going on and on and on, but I think it's really important for you guys to know, because I get tired of seeing it, honestly. And I read it right through people. If you're truly going to give yourself to God, don't half-ass it, because you can't fool God. God knows your heart. You're never going to be able to fool him. You could fool the world in what you show the world, or you think, or you make them think that you believe in God, but God knows your heart. God knows a sinful heart when he sees it. You cannot fool somebody else like that. You can't fool God. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm telling you, people put a fucking mask, a persona for the world, but they can't work on themselves. They cannot be better human beings for themselves, for God, even their own children. They'll put this fucking persona out saying, oh, I believe in God, I love God, and this and that, but they fucking choose to sin every single day. That's fucking blasphemy. Learn how to repent. Then you'll know the glory to God. That's just the best way to describe that. That's my only religious put into that, but I at least know that. I'm working on myself day by day with God, but I at least understand that. Why is it that all these people that actually preach the Bible, read the Bible, are the ones that, I hate saying it, but they choose sin the most? We're all children of God, but I choose to be better every day. If I sinned yesterday, I'm not going to want to sin today. The same sin I did yesterday. That's not repentance. God is not going to set me that way. Anyways, I'm telling you, I get passionate about this, and it's because people truly need to know. And then it's been an awakening for myself too. And you guys will see the passion within me because I care. Too many people are hurt in this world because they listen to the wrong things. They pay attention to the wrong things, and they lead their life that way. If I could be that voice to be like, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't do that. Change your habits. Do this instead of what you did in the past. Maybe that's going to help you out. We're not always right. Even I need correction sometimes too. Nobody's perfect. But with the right guidance, I think we'll get far. So on to the next one. Let's see. All right, this is another one on the masculine, feminine. Do you believe there can be a healthy balance of masculine energy and feminine energy within a woman? Or do you believe that women have to stay within the confines of the feminine energy only? No. I feel like the masculine and feminine energy have to both exist for it to work. It cannot be just one. And sometimes, honestly, a lot of women, they fall for the guy that pretends to be the alpha, pretends to be the masculine. And then later on, they end up realizing that this guy's a beta male. So sometimes women fall into that. That's why you have to honestly see how the man carries his life. What does that guy have in his life that could actually give you proof that he's actually a masculine man that you need? Because like I said, there's a lot of fake fucking alphas out there. They act like they're tough. They act like they could actually move and maneuver through life, but they can't. They're fucking pussies. Those are the ones that are toxic. And that's where the toxic masculinity fucking word came in. I don't think that word's real. I just think that there's men that are toxic and pretend to be alphas. Same as toxic femininity. It's the same shit. It's just women that choose to be toxic. I guess pretend to be feminine, and then eventually they're not. It's just like a persona or a mask that they put on. But to answer your question, honestly, you need both for it to work. If you only have one, it's going to overpower the other. So say if you're a masculine woman yourself, it's going to overpower him and eventually turn him into a feminine man completely. which I see happen a lot. Guys are scared to come home. Guys are scared to tell their woman something. But why? The man should be the leader. He's the one that should dictate what happens in that household. It shouldn't be the other way around, honestly. And if you don't agree with that, this is why society is the way it is. It's the modernization of it. It makes you believe that the woman should be independent. She should be a leader, this and that, not in the household, not with another man. The man should be the one that should be the leader. The reason why it's backwards is because the female is the leader in the household. I have a lot of stats to back it up, but I'll get into that in my next episodes because I do want to talk about this one in very detail because I could just talk about it forever. So I just want to answer it very quickly and just say that both energies have to be present. It can't just be one. If it's too much of one, it's going to overpower the other one and it's just not going to be a balance. Especially if the female is the one that's masculine. That's why divorce rates are high. That's why females are tired of their man not being a man. It's self-explanatory. The woman wants to be protected. She wants to be cared for. And most of these fucking guys, they can't handle their own fucking shit. Like, it's crazy. Like, they rely so much on their woman. It's wild to see, honestly. Like, I would be embarrassed as a man if I came home and I had to ask my woman for money or for advice about paying a bill or this. Like, it's just, no. Like, it's my duty as a man. Like, I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna handle all the bills. You don't have to worry about nothing. I got it. Imagine how much that would make the woman feel. But a lot of women are experiencing the opposite. So that's why it's creating a lot of issues in society right now. That's why I said that the man has to be the leader in the house. But right now there's a lot of pussies in a lot of households. And you guys know it. You guys fucking see it. I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat that one. It's just the base reality of it. And like I've said before, you have a decision to make. If it's a relationship you want to continue with, don't stay because of the fucking kids. Do not. Which many do. How many more years of misery are you going to have? How many more years are you going to show your kids that the way mommy and daddy love each other is not the way that it should be? Because usually in situations like that, there's no intimacy. There's no, affection. There's no compassion. There's nothing. It's just fighting. And a lot of distance. Most people live in houses and they're just roommates. That's base reality. So, on to the next one. What's your thoughts on matching couple tattoos? I mean, I've done a lot of them. I'm not saying that I had to cover some of them up, but there's always a lot of matching tattoos. Honestly, if it's a small one, like I'm talking about maybe nickel size, maybe, where it could potentially be covered up, I would say do it. I think it's a bonding situation, a bonding moment that you and your significant other could have. And I do think that it's meaningful in a way, to where you have something permanent on you forever. And it's always going to remind you of that person. Something like a tattoo, it's always going to stay with you forever. So whenever you look at your skin, you're always going to remember that person because of that tattoo, that experience that you had with that person. So I would say do it. But make sure it's small. Don't do a fucking big ass fucking piece where in case if something happens, you won't be able to cover it. So yeah, I don't have nothing wrong against matching tattoos. Just keep it small. So let me see the other one. What do you love about yourself? I I love that I'm very patient. I think that's one thing that a lot of people have told me is I'm very patient, but I always tell people don't take that as a weakness either, because I'm very calm because of the chaos life that I used to live in the past. You know, prior military, even before the military. I lived a life where I had to have a different mindset. I won't dive into it too much, but yeah, I lived a chaotic life in the past, and it's the reason why I'm so calm right now. And I love it this way. I love my peace. I love my state of mind where it's at because of the peace. And I want to actually keep it that way. So this next one is actually pretty interesting. My ex-boyfriend is stalking me and won't leave me alone. How do you let a guy know to leave you alone after breaking up? Well, this one, I mean, if I'll give you legal advice, I mean, a restraining order. That's the best way to fucking describe that one. Yeah, that one's very complicated, especially if they're stalking you, because that means that you're not gonna be able to move on comfortably. They're always gonna be around, but a restraining order would easily solve that. Yeah, some guys they don't take no for an answer. Just be very careful with that. You know, a lot of movies are made out of situations like this, so don't want to scare you, but protect yourself. Restraining order. You know, that person will get a nice letter at their house, be like, hey, you can't get certain amount of yards from this person, and hopefully that will scare them away for good. Yeah. Usually the person you date at the beginning, it's not the person that you end up breaking up with. It's crazy. That's why what's that saying too with marriages, it's you'll never marry the same person you divorce. People usually act the fool at the end. You start seeing their true colors at the end, and sometimes it's too late, and some of these people turn out to be crazy. So just be careful who you date. That's why I always say it. That's why I'm giving you guys these fucking, I guess, I'm giving you guys this advice so that way you guys know better. You know, it's not just for fucking anything else. Like, it's truly to help you guys out. You know, so that way you don't fall into these situations. Don't ignore the red flags. Know your self-love. Respect yourself. Don't use God as a fucking mask. Live life honestly and genuine. You know, it's these things that I keep repeating through all these podcast episodes that I put out. And I hate cussing with God's name next to it, but fuck, man, it truly gets to me. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I'll pray about it tonight for sure. But man, sometimes we have to live life in a healthy manner. Don't invite this chaos into your life and expect glory and happiness out of it. It doesn't work that way. So my next question is actually about my career in the military. What was your MOS in the military? So I was a 12 Bravo. It's a combat engineer. What that consists of is us looking for IEDs, which is improvised explosive devices. It's what the terrorists, Taliban, whatever you guys want to call them, the bad people, it's what they used to put on the roads, to use as bombs, you know, in many situations, to hurt soldiers, to hurt civilians in general. That's their main killer. You know, that was the number one killer in Iraq and Afghanistan. And my job was to find them. You know, a lot of my experiences through the military, I do not open up about too much, but yeah, that was what my job was. Me and my unit, we were down in RC South Afghanistan, Kandahar province. And yeah, that's where we were 2011. I actually found out that they're taking away the rock clearance, I guess, unit as a whole. I don't know why. Maybe the Biden administration. I won't get political about that because I am not too fond about Biden. But yeah, that was my job in the military. It taught me a lot. Maybe that's why I struggle with anxiety here and there all the time. I was looking for IEDs in Afghanistan every single day. So that could eventually cause some type of mental struggle, but I've been fine. I've been able to maneuver through it. So, tattooing in my son saved my life for sure. I love this next question. And honestly, it's going to be one of my next episodes. It's, how do you become a high value man? I truly thank you, whoever this was, because all these questions were actually anonymous, so I don't know who they are. But I know this is a man that asked me this, and they asked me, how do you become a high value man? First of all, I respect that you asking me this question because I do preach this a lot with my male clients, and I always just try to push somebody to be better every single day. As a man, everything is your fault. As a man, you have to strive to be the best version of yourself. Make more money, go to the gym, get a better physique yourself. Be better in general. Because it sucks as men. We don't get catered as much as women do. If we go through a breakup, we're by ourselves. Women, whenever they go through a breakup, they'll have many fucking guys in their DMs anywhere, just waiting, to comfort them, but women, they don't understand that. But anyways, men have to go through these things alone. A lot of men, they struggle. They commit suicide, even through the military. A lot of the mental struggle that happens through the military is because they feel alone. They feel like they can't reach out to somebody. As a man, you have to learn how to become better problem solvers. And like I said before, every single day, you almost have to beg that you want a new problem to solve. Because life in general, if it's easy, it's going to be boring. We have to go through life wanting it to be hard, because that's going to create our masculine essence to become a better man in general. We cannot be an exceptional man going through life on easy mode without any issues. Men that go through life and don't have issues at all, they're not exceptional men, but that's why they live average lives. It's just common sense. If you want an exceptional life, expect exceptional issues, exceptional problems. And I mean by big issues where you have to learn how to maneuver through them, where an average person would struggle so much to learn how to maneuver through it. Want to have a bunch of issues. I want to have issues every single day because I know it's going to create such a mentality for me to know that the next level, I'll be able to just maneuver through it much easier instead of me not going through it and then me being lost. That makes sense. But go through life wanting more issues, honestly. That's just the way it is. Life is always going to be ups and downs, but might as well just be ready for the ups and downs and the bad downs, honestly. So create a circle of men that want better. Because sometimes the reason why a lot of men, they get stuck where they're at is because of their circle. If you hang around a group of people that are losers, that they don't strive to be more, and they don't want more from life, you're going to become that. And I hate saying it the way, in that fashion, but it's the truth. If you want more from life, you have to put yourself in a situation with other people that are doing a lot in life. You can't hang around bums and expect to have an exceptional life. You have to hang around winners. and you'll become a winner. You know, you become the sum of the 5 people you hang around. You know, you become the 6th of those 5 people. 5 losers, you'll be the 6th. 5 winners, you'll be the 6th. It's just plain and simple. It's the influence. And that's why I bring it up a lot in this podcast. Who you hang around, you'll become. And if you ignore that, you'll wonder why life is shitty for you. But if you hang around winners, your life is going to be exceptional. It's going to be an amazing life. A life of freedom. A life of less misery. But even if you do have misery, you'll know how to maneuver through it because you went through enough stuff to learn how to maneuver through it. Or to how to handle these situations without actually collapsing, like many people do. So, get a circle of winners. Don't hang around bums. Don't chase women. I think that's I'll put that one out first. Do not chase women. Chase your excellence. Chase the gym. Chase everything that you're doing with your career. Because women could be a distraction. They'll take you down a different path. You'll be taking them on dates, which is going to cost you money. It's going to cost you money and time, which during that time you could have been putting it into your career, your passion, whatever it could be. And most women, all they want is attention. So guess what? They're going to expect your attention and you're going to be there giving it to them. I've seen a lot of men give up a lot of great opportunities because of a woman. Don't be that guy. The currency for women is attention. They get it every fucking day. There's many average guys out there that they'll feed off of that attention every fucking day. Even if it's from bums, they'll still take it. But because they feel some type of way from it and they have that dopamine hit from it, don't be that guy. Don't be that extra guy. Chase your excellence and women are going to come to you. The right woman's going to come to you because they're going to see that you've done the work. You've done the work to become an exceptional man, that they want to be a part of that life with you. Instead of these women getting attention from men that are average and they feel like the prize. You know, you become the prize as a man. You become the prize as a man whenever the woman's the one chasing you. If you're chasing the woman, they're the prize. But that makes you less of a man. Don't be that guy. Be a guy that cannot be replaceable. Be a guy that makes so much money, that's good looking, that's in shape, that you cannot be replaceable. If you're a man that does what every other guy does, you're easily replaceable. That's why I phrase it very precise. Now I always say, exceptional man. Because a life as an exceptional man is amazing. It's freedom. You don't have to prove your worth for anybody or to anybody. Because you already know what you're worth. Your life is a reflection of it. The amazing things that you bring into your life, that's a reflection of your life. So become that. Don't chase women. That's a priority, trust me. And a lot of men, they struggle with that one because they lead with lust. A lot of men do. They think with their pee-pee. And they'll fucking lose it. And they lose everything else with it. Including their career. So, do not be that guy. So, I do have more questions, guys. But I think I'm going to cut it off right there. Only because we're about to hit 2 hours into this. Or close to it by the time I finish this segment. But yeah, some of these questions I'll probably bring into the next episode. One of my next episodes is going to be a lot about the masculine and feminine dynamic. I know I talked about it before, but I do want to get into some more detail. I am going to try to explain the stats of what we're living through right now, a lot of these stats is going to wake up a lot of people. It's going to truly make you think twice before you give that person a chance, because it's the reasons why divorce rates are so high. It's the reason why a lot of people are getting cheated on. It's why a lot of people are getting in heartbreak situations, breakups, all that. So I will get into more detail. Everything that I talk about, it's backed up with research, a lot of data, a lot of stats, a lot of stuff that if somebody were to try to challenge me on this, I would easily be able to debate them back, because I want to put stuff that's real. I want to put stuff that's genuine. So that way it could help somebody out. Because like I said earlier, we live in life. A lot of people are living life behind a shell, behind a mask, and they don't want to take accountability for the stuff that they do in their life. So I think it's time for us to wake the fuck up and accept what is, and the reality that we live is because of our own fault, not because of somebody else. So I want to give you guys the best output and the best research, the best data I could give you. And, like I said, I hopefully help somebody out. So as always, guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Well, I hope you guys took some of this information to heart and does something to you. It makes you think a little bit. Even if it's controversial, even if you don't agree with it. I will soon be able to have call-ins. I'm going to have actual call-ins into this podcast. So if you guys do want to challenge me on some of my belief systems or whatever opinions I have, I'll be ready to debate it, honestly. Like I said, I'm going to have research and data to back me up, and I'll be ready. If you have a different opinion, if you don't agree with it, yeah, let's debate it. We'll go over it as civil human beings. Nobody has to get pissed off. We all have different opinions, and we all think a different way, but I think it's the way that we're raised. It's the way that our influences around us teach us these things. But I think if we debate in a healthy manner, I think that's all we could ask for. We're all trying to grow as people and help each other out. So again, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Much love. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Luna out.